Okay, guys, I have Darth Micro here. I wanted to collab with him for Marvel Future Revolution. We had our August 25th release date, which is why I'm releasing this today. Um, I hope that this is valuable information for a lot of newbies just starting. I know there's a lot of experienced players that were playing with the Canada servers, but hopefully this game blows up and it's lots of fun, and I hope you keep playing too, Darth. Think you're going to keep
Yep.
playing? Yeah? Good.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it another shot once Global comes out because I'm at a little bit of a break right now.
Yeah.
Uh,
Our poor alliance is
but I
suffering.
yeah, no, I've been walking away from it and not really continuing progression at the moment just due to the latest patch. I was kind of waiting to see when once the game gets released, I want to see the state of the game on release, and I want to try free to play on release since I tried welling out in the beginning of the non-global release. So on global, I'm going to try free to play on the main server and see exactly how different it is now that there's the new resource mechanics in the game.
Okay. I plan to do the same. I do plan to make a free to play account in another server. Although, to be honest, I found it difficult. I was trying to see how to log into a different account while on my phone, and switching accounts doesn't seem easy, so I've got to look into that.
Yeah, it's not going to be too easy, but luckily, I think you can use the same account because when you go to a new server, you're not going to have all your characters anyway.
Oh, that's nice.
So
Like
you can
Summoner's Glory. If you change servers, you could still be under the same account.
exactly.
Oh,
So
perfect.
luckily, it's not a big issue for us. We get
Good,
to do
good.
both free to play and well, and do both at the same time.
Okay. So for today, I wanted to start by talking about stats. Like, I know that was one of my any gamer playing like this. It's one of the first things. I'm like, all right, so what do you focus? So I started with Black Widow, but I want to talk a little bit general first. Obviously, in Raid, which most of the people that know us from Raid, Shadow Legends. There's a lot of very specifics, like you need X amount of accuracy to land your debuffs. You need
Right.
resistance to counteract that. Is there anything in this game so far that you've noticed with stats that don't matter as much, like that maybe you don't need to worry about,
Well,
for,
here's the
or things
thing.
that are the most important? Like, where do you think those?
Good question. So here's what I've noticed myself is that because of the way the stats are implemented in the game and the definitions, meaning the way that we understand the stats
Mm-hmm.
are not clearly broken down, it is very difficult to actually look at the stats and objectively say what's the best build for characters. So the majority of the time when people are focusing on stats or certain builds, it's going to be very niche down to one particular thing. Like to give you an example, for instance, I'm building on Storm, I'm building sort of a crit rate, crit damage type of build. All PvP increase damage, lots of crit damage increase, as much of that as I can possibly get, all the PvP bonuses I can get. Then, excuse me, I'm sick, so you guys might get a little bit of a gravelly voice. I apologize, but I'm also working towards the four-piece Hydra set because Hydra gives you critical rate as well as increasing your lightning, and the lightning moves are the ones that are going to work best off crit rank, crit damage. But if I was going for like a completely different PvE centered build, I don't know if I'd be going entirely for crit rate, for instance, crit rate and crit damage. Maybe I'd go for something entirely different because the reason I'm doing crit rate and crit damage is that shock, which is a passive effect, can also critical off of Storm 2, and it's RNG based upon our specialty. So you can see there's like some
Mm-hmm.
RNG. I have an RNG one-shot build where it's like I can hit the button, sometimes you're going to get one shot and die. And I
Nice.
think that's fun. But it's a completely different statistical build than what somebody else would use. And some of the stats I use would be completely useless for a different person, like shock damage increase for an example. So I think it really depends upon what build you're going for. I will say that there has been some mentioning from the devs that the accuracy stat actually increases damage, and it's not just, um, for instance, debuff resistance check. Like there's
Interesting.
actually a different stat for that. So I would say, as it stands, accuracy is a stat that's a little bit undetermined onto what it does. I know Riminex and myself put a little pressure on when the passive global release was out to ask them to implement something into the game that actually breaks down and describes with text lines what each stat does.
Definitely, yeah.
And they said they are working on that. I don't know if that's coming to the game or anything,
Okay.
but we've requested it. And in my personal opinion, when it comes to stats, that's the biggest issue at the moment is just not knowing what they do.
That's fair. I know, like Summoner's Glory, I remember, like, defense doesn't really mean much in that game. Like, but you wouldn't know that. You would just assume, oh, they're the tank, you gotta put a lot of defense on them, but you don't know how the mechanics work within the game until you really get playing it.
Yep. And there's some similar mechanics in this game too like there isn't HP percentage shred that I've seen. Like there's not a passive stat where on each auto attack it does 5% max HP shred,
Oh,
but there's
true.
tons of stats for defense piercing.
Okay.
So because you can't really heal in Dimension Duel, stacking tons of HP is actually an effective option because you're going to counter defense pierce. That's anyone who's running that stat doesn't do anything against HP at all because it doesn't increase your damage, right? All it does is help go through any armor you have. And if you have no armor and everyone's effectively doing pure true damage to you and all of your defensive stats are in HP, that can help too. Plus, you get
Interesting.
tons of passive stats from leveling other characters. So you're going to be having defense, HP, and all of that too. And I think the majority of the stat breakdown, and if you're going to be another player, is going to come from just how much you played the game and your squad rank and how much all the overall power that comes from a million different things in
Yeah,
this
that's
game.
the
It's
hard
very
part.
widespread.
It's like, oh, I'm level 100 finally, and then I still get smacked down by everyone else who's twice the squad rank as me.
Yeah, like I'm
So
a
it's like,
million power, and I go into
that's
a Mega War
crazy.
and I can still get crushed. I mean, like just crushed by people like Aatrox. So yeah, it's an ever climbing mountain that has no peak.
Well, I guess we could start with like Black Widow here for so specifically on her. My understanding is crit damage attack because her ultimate vanish allows for a 100% chance to crit when you vanish before using your strong ability. So that seems to be a general build. I mean, I know she does some stuff that probably requires accuracy, but I really don't. There's no real purpose to worry about putting accuracy on her, right? Probably focus more cooldowns or
She's
ultimate skill
burst.
recovery.
Yeah, I mean, she just
Secondary.
seems like pure DPS.
Yeah.
So cooldown, energy recovery, crit damage, attack percentage, like anything you need to continually spam out DPS. I guess if you're going PvP, it's probably just all pure crit damage attack, and you're not worrying as much about continual DPS. You're worried about burst DPS. And the reason Black Widow is also so good is she has really high burst. So because of that, when you're doing bosses and stuff, you can last hit bosses or last hit kills. She's somebody who's very easy to like play and feel like you're a god on.
She's a lot of fun for sure. I started with Doctor Strange, but then I started playing her second and I liked her better, so I switched my main before I was too invested, luckily. Thanks to your advice of playing multiple characters, for sure.
For sure, that's best device in the game. Play all the characters.
Yeah, I mean, I started with Strange. I got him to like 4. Actually, I think I only got him to like 30 before I switched, and then I got him to I got him to 20 and him to 20 before I decided. So that was
Gotcha.
fun.
Yeah, you did a pretty good amount of trying out these
I mean, I
characters.
definitely want to try others as well, but I figured I'd start with the ones I thought I would be gravitated toward first. And especially seeing that I actually liked the melee side of her a little bit more. I liked pulling people, like grappling hook, like pulling people in and then kicking them. And of course, now I'm not even using any of those skills, but it was fun. That's what got me interested in her. And now I'm using all the range stuff, go figure, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's kind of like Iron Man for me. Like Iron Man was really fun. I like the character a lot.
Yeah,
He's very enjoyable, but he wasn't my main character.
yeah, Iron. He's super fun to watch people play. He just seems like he'd be fun to play. All right, actually, I
His
probably should.
moves are enjoyable to use.
Let me go back here. So, all right, Doctor Strange. Now, you'd think, okay, he's caster. Oop, I did not want to go out of that. Really? Really?
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange. He needs accuracy to land, you would think, right? But that's still a questionable stat. So where are things lying for him, you think, right now?
Well, I'm not an expert with him yet. I only got him
Yeah.
about 76. I haven't 100. He's
Okay.
one of the couple people I have left, to be fair. So I couldn't tell you from the top of it, but I will say that yes, you're correct when it comes to the accuracy, um, because you probably don't want accuracy as much as debuff accuracy, which I'm pretty sure is actually different. So if I actually go into the game and I'll pull up the stat breakdown here, you're gonna want the debuff accuracy
Interesting. I
because
didn't
yeah,
even notice that.
yeah, that's what I'm saying about the accuracy stat from earlier. Is that it's a little
Yeah.
bit of a bait because you build accuracy thinking I'm going to land my debuffs, but accuracy actually has nothing to do with debuffs as
Weird.
far as what the devs have said. I mean, I don't know when it comes to actual testing. Maybe there's a channel out there that does testing of all these things, and they're just a numbers guy, and they might
Hmm.
answer this at some point for us. But yeah, from what the devs have said, accuracy literally has nothing to do with landing
That's
debuffs.
strange.
So,
Okay.
which is very strange
At
to
least for
me. I
raid
mean,
players.
I would say just for
Most
anyone that
games.
speaks English, like
Yeah.
you look at it and it accuracy you would think with that, but there is other stats for that, which is debuff accuracy. So you specifically want debuff accuracy. Like I have 142% on it, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
and that is enough to land most things. And you can actually see the special stats on each character once you break down with things like specializations and all that. You'll see all your special stats on the side too. And personally, for Doctor Strange, I think if I was building him, yeah, a lot of debuff accuracy because he lands that. Plus, his ultimate's crazy. Like
It
his
is
ultimate
fun.
CCs people in way too big of a zone. Like it's too large. There's no denying that Doctor Strange's ultimate is the largest ultimate in the game, and it is definitely too big. So you can
That's
grab
fair.
anyone. I mean, like basically anyone in a giant circle if you have enough debuff accuracy, and they are 100% CC'd unless they use their guard break, and they're just sitting there floating for like 3-4 seconds, and then they take insane amounts of damage, and you can resist that. So if you have a lot of debuff resistance, but again, if they're building debuff accuracy, and so really I see Doctor Strange as like AoE CC, but he also hits tons of people with his AoE too.
Yeah.
I mean, even his basic attack is AoE in a certain sense. It's chained. So because of that, yeah, you could build him pure damage. I mean, that's what I'm saying about the builds from
Yeah, it
earlier. Like
depends on
really,
where
as we
you
go through these
focus.
characters, any of these characters can be built a variety of way. Like he could be built CC bot, he could be built
And
pure
everyone
damage.
needs damage, like stats, period, to do damage. Like, it's not like some people are based on defense or HP like raid as much. It's just attack is attack, right?
Correct. And luckily, from what I have seen, th- each character can be viable in a multiple of ways. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're not required. From what I've seen, it seems like one build can be superior. For most things, like most games. But it does seem like if you're somebody who just wants to have fun and build the character you want, like you can have success with your own style of builds. You don't have to go on YouTube and type in best storm build and copy paste, somebody's build. Like you can in fact build it the way you want, theorycraft, and probably have it work fairly decent.
Gotcha. Nice. I like that. What about Captain America? Now we're talking tank. We all know he's the tank of the group. So you were
He's a
talking
little
doing
bit
Well, he can do good damage now. I know they changed him a bit too. He got a bit of a buff.
he got a significant buff, and he was already borderline the best character. Like Captain America was considered complete trash in the beginning of the game, and as the game goes on, people realize he's better and better and better. He's the only character in the game that has life steal built into an auto attack with a specialization, as
Nice.
well as he's the only character in the game that gets damage increase from defensive stats. So again, as raid players
Oh
or
yeah.
anyone who
Okay.
plays
Damage based on
gachas or
defense.
anything,
Yeah.
you can understand when you have a character that does more damage, the tankier they become, and you're the only character in the game that can do that, it can be a problem. So that's what Captain America is. He's unkillable, but yet can one-shot anybody. Yeah, Captain America, anyway. Sorry, my audio disconnected. But Captain America, from what I can tell, has become probably the most sleeper OP champion in the game at the absolute highest level because of the reasons of lifesteal and defense and all that. I mean, there isn't a way to heal your character. Like you have health pots, which PvP modes do not allow you to use. Like in Omega War, you cannot heal yourself. It's
Mm-hmm.
physically not possible unless you grab the
It's
crystals,
very
right? Or
true.
grab your basic health recovery that just passively generates. So having lifesteal is a huge deal, especially when you can get extremely tanky, and the point of it is to accumulate points and then become tanky and sit there and not get killed. So you can have essentially a god. I mean, when Aatrox is in Omega War, he's not going to die. It doesn't matter because he's somebody who spent 20, 30, $40,000 or however much is on the Captain America now,
Oh
has
dear
insane
God.
high power, leveled all the characters to 100, in one point spend $4,500 in one day on dimension boxes for squad rank experience.
Oh
Like you're
my
not going to
God.
beat that. You're not gonna. You're literally not going to beat that, especially when he did it on the right character from the beginning, out of just fun, randomly chose it, and then he just got a buff. Captain America is ridiculous, and he's one of the characters that's not really like build him any way you want. It's like you build him tanky, and he
Yeah.
kills
HP
everyone.
defense, just that like focus, just to keep him strong.
Yeah, basically defense. I mean, you can add crit damage, all that if you want, but you look at his specializations and it becomes very obvious once you start. I have an audio issue there, but Captain America's a great character. Personally, the way I feel about him is it's borderline obvious the way you build him. Extremely tanky. You take the potential and you get the percentage. Any cooldown. Like I'm looking at him right now. So if you actually go and you actually look, we go here and we go to the potential here, enhanced potential. The options he has is attack, defense, HP. Then you have HP guard damage decrease, HP recovery. Then you have defense debuff resistance, HP recovery, and then you have defense guard damage decrease, HP recovery. So what I chose to take, and I didn't spend money on Captain America, was in the first row I took defense over attack and HP. The second row I took guard damage decrease, because guard damage decrease is one of the things that makes him so important. Not being able to guard damage break him is really good because he has moves that can help with that. As well as he's one of the highest guard breakers in the game, on top of all the other things we talked about. And then I took debuff resistance. So again, as somebody who's tanky, if you can't CC him and you can't do enough damage to really kill him, and he's life stealing due to his specialties, and he's doing tons of damage because the tankier he gets, the more damage he does, he becomes ridiculous.
Sounds
so
fun.
in the last row, again, guard damage decrease. So
okay.
that's pretty much how I see him.
Nice. Now, Spidey, I know he's your favorite, right?
He is, yeah.
So I know big thing is dodge rate makes him broken.
Yeah, there's a couple ways you can go with him. Dodge rate is a fairly broken mechanic. He can dodge more than anyone else in the game. You can overcap your dodge rate on him due to specialties. You can overcap your dodge rate over the top of hit cap percentage, from what I understand. I don't know if that's 100% accurate, but it's what I've been told by other Spider-Men, meaning that he can effectively become completely unhittable, basically. Like, there's the opportunity for that to happen at some point. I don't know if anyone's got that.
He's definitely annoying in Dimension Duels. When I get higher powered ones, I usually don't have a chance to hit them before they kill me.
Right. So you can do the dodge rate thing, especially since a lot of people's moves are single bursty damage in Dimension Duel. So it's like if your snipe misses or whatever. I don't know. That's probably a bad example.
Yeah, that is a good example.
If one move misses that's a single burst move, then you lose like 50% of your damage or something. Like I said, I have a one-shot RNG build on my Storm. If I go against a Spider-Man that's like 2/3 of my power, they can beat me if they dodge my move. Like, they can just straight up kill me.
I am still using Sniper Shot. I know it's harder to use in Dimension Duels because everyone's so quick and stuff, but I'm still using that for now as my main, like, hard hitter for Black Widow, at least.
Yeah,
it's hard.
I understand the real the real high in-game stuff is like the assassination moves, like the death ram, where it's not even.
Yeah, I do have that actually. I have those in the works. I'm almost got all my skills leveled up, but a couple more to go.
Yeah, so Captain America is probably someone you not want to deal with as Black Widow too, because if somebody tries sniping him and he has his reflect damage on, you can just straight up kill yourself.
Oh, funny.
Spider-Man himself has a different build too, which if you're not necessarily going for the dodge rate, you can go for guard break, because he has some of the highest guard break. I think right next to Captain America, Captain America and Spider-Man have the two most highest, with like it goes lowest, low, medium, high, highest in terms of guard break from low to high, right? So highest is the word for the most guard break potential, and Spider-Man and Captain America, I believe, are tied. Maybe Captain America has one more for the most of the highest level guard break. And for that reason, and you can also spec into it, etc. You can become guard breaking as sort of a build for Spider-Man as well. So that is, in fact, another way you can build him, is as a guard breaker instead of just kind of a dodge pseudo, like if you're familiar with WoW back in the day, like a druid tank. Instead of that, he can also be he can be something completely different, you know.
Okay, and still focus a bit. I mean, obviously, everyone, again, you just want damage on everyone. So do you still try to get 100%? Well, no, I guess you can't get 100% crit rate in this game, right? Is it 75? What's the crit in this? Do you know? Have you maxed?
I don't know what the cap is. It's in the 70s.
Yeah.
It might be 73 or 75.
Are you still aiming for that damage with him, too, or just being super evasive and then taking advantage of his
I don't really worry about damage at all with him, to be honest. The only thing I'm really looking for is guard break and dodge rate.
Oh, wow,
like,
all right.
The way I'm building him in particular. But I'm not really interested in building all of my characters to be
just pure
the highest damage
they
can do, because one of them is going to be the highest damage anyway. You know, it's like they aren't all going to be the best that I own. So there's not really a reason for it. Plus, on top of it, like, you get all the rewards no matter what character you're playing on. You can claim the rewards on like any character, just the way you manipulate the inventory. So you don't. I can play on my favorite character, but it's not going to be the fastest, you know. So what I do is I use Storm just to auto everything, you know. I just auto the raids, I auto the whatever, and I just auto everything with Storm, and then I go play on the character I actually want to play on. and do the builds I want to build because I like trying stuff, fun stuff. Like,
Yeah, that
can I
makes
get enough
sense.
dodge rate people can't hit me? Can I get enough guard break I can one shot some of these guard meter in one thing? It may not be the best build, it may not be really effective, and it may not give me the top tier, but it's fun. And I think that's kind of the point of this game. Personally, there's only 8 characters. It's definitely pay to win in the PvP aspect, and you can't compete at all if you're trying to compete in PvP high end, being free to play.
Hmm.
So personally, the way I see it is you figure out builds you like and you try to have fun, and that's 100% the best way to play the game.
Nice. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to get Doctor Strange going for my PVE farming because Black Widow's not the easiest for that. Bit squishy.
Yeah,
Because I have her
probably
built
not.
so hit. I have her built to hit hard, and it's not fun. I don't have much health in her. That's for sure. She dies pretty quick. You have to be
So the
evasive,
next
right?
on your list, right next to Spider-Man, who's the next one we got?
Captain Marvel.